Arguably the best pitcher on the planet right now doesn't even play in the MLB, and his name is Roki Sasaki. You probably recognize the name from his performance in the World Baseball Classic, but his story and dominance stretches much further than just those few games on the world stage. He possesses maybe the best fastball the game has ever seen, and when he eventually makes his way over to the MLB, we may see a level of dominance that baseball has never experienced before. In high school, Roki Sasaki was maybe the best pitcher in the Japanese high school world. He comes from the same region where big-time Japanese prospects such as Yusei Kikuchi and Shohei Ohtani are from. The Ohtani comparisons gained fast, especially when he broke the Japanese high school record for the fastest pitch ever thrown, previously held by Shohei Ohtani. He reached 101 miles an hour or 163 kilometers per hour. Sasaki's team would make the Koshien High School Baseball Championship. It's the largest amateur sporting event in Japan, attracting thousands of fans every year. It's like the Little League World Series, but on a Super Bowl level scale. Sasaki threw 194 pitches during his start in the quarterfinals of the tournament, and then 129 pitches 3 days later in the semifinals. This resulted in his coach not allowing him to pitch in the final to avoid injury risk, where his team would eventually lose 12-2. Now this may seem normal to Americans, as pitchers generally pitch once every 5 days, throwing no more than 100 pitches. But in the Koshien tournament, his resting caused outrage. In Daisuke Matsuzaka's Koshien appearance, he threw 881 pitches in 2 weeks. But this coach had Sasaki's future in mind, and thank God for it. Despite a ton of MLB interest out of high school, Roki would opt for the NPB, and eventually he'd be the first pick in the draft by the Shiba Latte Marines. He would debut in 2021 at the age of 19. The NPB is widely regarded as the second best baseball league in the world. It's referred to by scouts and other members of baseball as quadruple A, as it's not on the MLB's level, but it's slightly better than AAA. Also, when Sasaki debuted, he was 8.5 years younger than the average age in the NPB. But this didn't matter because he would go out and dominate. In his rookie season, he threw 83 innings to a 1.92 ERA and a 2.81 FIP. He also displayed elite command, walking just 5.6% of hitters. Keep in mind that he's doing this at the age where most guys in America are in their freshman or sophomore year of college. It was the following season, though, where Sasaki would go from being a very good prospect to being tagged as generational. On April 10, 2022, Sasaki would throw the 16th perfect game in NPB history at 20 years old. In this game, Sasaki would strike out 19 hitters, 13 of them were consecutive. Masataka Yoshida, the guy with an 873 OPS in the MLB right now, struck out 3 times at the hands of Sasaki in this game, and he struck out just 26 times that whole season. In this game, he would also hit a career best 102 miles an hour on his fastball. But it didn't end there. The following game, the perfect run would continue as he pitched 8 perfect innings with 14 strikeouts. However, his manager would take him out in the 8th inning to protect his arm with 102 pitches, ending his chances at back-to-back perfect games. Roki would go on to pitch to a 2.02 ERA across 129 innings that year, along with a ridiculous 35% strikeout rate to a 4% walk rate. I mentioned in the intro that Sasaki may have the best fastball the game has ever seen. That may seem like an overreaction or disrespect to guys like Randy Johnson, Jacob deGrom, and Nolan Ryan, as they've had fastballs that have terrorized MLB hitters for years. But I'm not sure that any of these guys come close to Sasaki's metrics. Now it's hard to say for sure since pitch tracking data was not around for most of these iconic fastballs. But what we do know for sure is that velocity has significantly increased over the past 10 years, and we're currently witnessing the best version of pitching in baseball history. Roki Sasaki on a metric level is miles ahead of everyone. I want to introduce the term Stuff Plus. If you haven't heard of it yet, you soon will. It's a model that takes in all the metrics of the pitch and gives that pitch a score. It doesn't account for location though, just the metrics of the ball flight. This includes velocity, vertical and horizontal break, extension, and more. 100 would be an average pitch. These are the top 5 fastballs in baseball right now according to Stuff Plus, and I think we can all agree that it's pretty accurate. Stuff Plus is saying that Yunier Kano's sinker is 122% better than a league average sinker this year. Roki Sasaki's fastball metrics in 2022 would give the pitch a 367 Stuff Plus rating. 367. Sasaki gets ridiculous ride and horizontal movement on his fastball as he generates 19 inches of vertical break and 15 inches of horizontal break. But I do have to mention that NPB balls are tackier, giving pitchers a much better grip, so these numbers are slightly inflated. During the World Baseball Classic, the movement did drop down to 16.8 vert and 12 horizontal as he used MLB balls, but his average velo was up to 100.3 miles an hour. This brings his Stuff Plus score down to a 204. While that's much lower than the previous 367, it's still by far the best Stuff Plus fastball of any starter in the MLB. Imagine Spencer Strider's fastball and now make it 40% better. That's what Roki Sasaki has. I wish it ended there though for the sake of MLB hitters, but it doesn't. His two primary off-speeds both grade out at elite levels. The splitter he throws is quite literally a gravity ball, coming in with a stuff plus score of 281. This would be by far the best pitch in baseball right now, and the results back it up. In the World Baseball Classic, hitters couldn't touch it. He allowed just one hit against the splitter and pitched to a 40% swinging strike rate with it. This means that 40% of the time he threw that splitter, he got a swing and miss. And yeah, his slider's pretty insane too, being 44% better than a league average slider. So I think it's safe to say that from a stuff standpoint, there's never been a starting pitcher that can even come close to what Roki brings to the table. North America was finally able to witness Roki's greatness on the biggest stage this past winter. In the most entertaining and influential World Baseball Classic to date, Roki starred. In his first start against the Czech Republic, he went 3 2/3, striking out 8 and allowing just 2 hits, before he reached his max pitch count of 65 pitches. He was dominant, inducing an in-zone whiff rate of 56% and topping out at 102 miles an hour. But it was his start versus Mexico and Miami that really put him on the map. With the world watching, he displayed his elite stuff, touching 102 multiple times. He threw 29 fastballs in this outing. 26 of them were over 100 miles an hour. Not rounded up like you see on TV. 26 of the 29 of them were over 100.0 miles an hour. Sasaki was virtually unhittable through 3 2/3. But then Radu Tellez blooped this ground ball down the line for a base hit. Then another bloop hit fell to put 2 guys on. And we all know what happens in baseball after some bloop hits fall. Sasaki's night was spoiled by a 3-run home run from Luis Arias. But either way, it was a special performance to give MLB fans a glimpse of what's to come from him in the future. Sadly, we probably won't see Roki in the States until 2027 due to the NPB contract and buyout rules. He can come here sooner, but he would have to request to be posted to free agency by his team, and the team does not have to grant that request. Yu Darvish and Shohei Ohtani were previously bought out early, but that was only because of the insane amounts of money that their teams received from the MLB. So it's more likely that at the age of 25 he'll make the jump over to the MLB, where he'll likely see a record-setting contract. Kodai Senga received $75 million this offseason, and Masataka Yoshida received $90 million. While both are having great rookie seasons in the MLB, neither are nearly the type of free agent that Roki will be in 2027. It's tough to really put a number on it, but if he does sign to a long-term deal, it's hard to imagine he'll receive anything less than $200 million, assuming he only improves over these next couple years. And he currently is. He somehow one-upped his ridiculous 2022 season with a 1.48 ERA and 0.96 FIP across 79 innings this year. It's like if Edwin Diaz was a starter last year and sustained his closer production. It just shouldn't be possible. With baseball's iconic arms of the past decades starting to slow down, the game is looking for the new crop of generational pitchers. Spencer Strider looks to be one of them. Zach Allen might be another, but there isn't truly a guy on the level of Kershaw, Scherzer, or Verlander right now. And that's the void I believe Roki will fulfill. We've seen Japanese players struggle when they come over to the MLB, traveling thousands of miles to a completely different country to play 162 games in 185 days is not easy. That's combined with the insane expectations placed on you by fans in America and Japan. It's tough, but I'm betting on Roki to overcome these challenges. While everyone's drooling over Paul Skeens and calling him the best pitching prospect ever, the real best pitching prospect of all time is currently dominating 6,000 miles away from the MLB. And he's not just the best pitching prospect of all time, he's the best pitcher on earth right now.